Welcome back to the d.i.y YouTube channel. I am coming from the battle wagon today, and hopefully it is the only time I have to film an episode in this vehicle. Now, the single most important piece of advice that I or anybody else could give to anyone in this world is that everything in life, no matter what it is, everything is a balance between two or more items, and you have to figure out the balance for yourself. Now, it could be a balance between two things, it could be a balance between five things. That's going to be situationally dependent, and I might do some future videos touching on what the different scenarios are, what the different categories are for those scenarios, and what I personally would choose given the options in that case. But even though I can tell you what I would personally do in various circumstances, I cannot tell you what to do in every circumstance. The only person in this world who can tell you what balance works out for you and is the correct choice for you is yourself. And that's not to say no one else will ever have some sort of an impact on what that balance is, or if you're close to that balancing point might sway you to one way or the other. That could still happen, but what your priorities are can't be decided by anybody else other than you. Let me give you a few examples. One of the biggest items that people have difficulty balancing is their home and their personal life versus their work life. For example, do you go into work for that overtime because you really have to get a production schedule met, or do you go to the dinner that you signed up to do 4 weeks ago with your significant other? Additionally, let's say you're buying a new car and you want it to be a sports car. All right, well, how much are you able to pay? What's the trade-off for you between how much you're willing to pay or able to afford versus how cool or fast of a car you want? So now you're probably thinking, okay, I know you said you have to figure it out on your own, but like, where do I start? Where's the starting place? That's the beauty of life. No one really knows. It's kind of a guess and check method, and you have to figure it out as you go. And what that means is you got to make those decisions swaying one way or the other and figure out how that makes you feel and how you want to set your priorities based on that. And whether or not we realize this, all of us do this to some extent every single day, most of the day long. Even on small things, right? Like my need for a job so I can pay for a house versus my want to walk out of work on some days. Even if I want to walk out because I'm having a rough day at work, my balance is greatly shifted towards that need of having shelter and a place to live and food to eat, otherwise you die. So whether or not it's even a conscious decision, it is a decision all of us make consistently every moment of every day. Or another example, the want for me to create and film new content versus the want for me to do it with clear skin. So like I said, there's no way to do it other than trying to figure it out for yourself, going out and trying to do things one way versus the other, given the options that you have to balance. See how you feel, see how it affects your life or your relationships with people. Then go back and say, okay, I didn't like it, or I did like it because of these reasons. Now, how am I going to adjust my habits as a result of that? And that's the big ticket item where a lot of people fall short, is even if they know consciously that they side towards one way or the other in their scale of balancing items, they won't really change if they don't like how that works out for them. And that's a mistake I've made too previously, where I prioritized my work life over my personal life in different scenarios, and as a result, I missed some very key things that I didn't want to miss. And historically, I have considered myself to be a bit of a workaholic. Now, as for how I would go about correcting that, there's no real way to do it other than waiting for an item to come up in your personal life and then making the conscious choice to take that over your work life. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not something that's going to be comfortable at first, but it's something that if you do truly want to make the change and adjust so you have a better balance in whatever aspect of your life that is the only way you're going to accomplish it. And it's scary. It's really scary to do. So even just recently, I had a choice where I was trying to balance what vehicle I was trying to buy versus my budget and planning financially for the future. And I know I've historically always been the kind of person who meticulously plans with their money and tries to put as much away as possible, saving for the future. And I forget a lot of times to try to live in the moment and still have fun while I'm younger. And especially with the head injury I've had, that's helped me a lot to see that I should also spend some time, some effort, some money now enjoying the things while I still can. And as such, I haven't picked it up yet, but I just bought a car that is more money than I probably should have paid. It's horribly impractical, and frankly, the purchase is really exciting and absolutely terrifying at the same time. I think this is going to be either one of the best and coolest things I've ever done, or probably the worst financial decision I've ever made. And I can truthfully say, as a 27-year-old guy, that is terrifying. I am so uncertain about this decision one way or the other, but on the other hand, that is the only way that you're going to break out of your comfort zone and readjust that balance in your life. So it's okay to take chances. It is okay to be scared, and that's not something that most people are comfortable with. I obviously, like I just said, am not comfortable with it either, but that's okay. And it's okay to not be okay with every decision. That's the only way we really learn. That's the only way we really grow as people, is to go out of our comfort zone and do those things. So with all of that said, I'm going to close out this episode. I want to thank you guys again for watching.